Hey there everybody, Phil here for AndroidCentral.com. I want to walk you through some of the software here on the Droid RAZR because there's a lot of it, and actually some of it's really good and some of it's not so good. So when you first open things up and you get signed in and everything, you've got your kind of normal home screens, right? Motorola Fair, we've seen all this before. You actually have blank ones on the end and not too much going on preloaded. So we've got a little gallery widget, mobile hotspot, VZ Navigator, music, YouTube. This is a really cool favorite contacts widget. So you can, just tap whoever you got out there, or if you need to see more, you pull down and it loads everybody else, and you can add more to it as you see fit. Very, very cool widget. I like that a lot. Voicemail, browser market. Normally this will be the email app there. I've gone ahead and put Gmail out there for me. Why? I've never seen almost anybody put Gmail out there by default. It drives me nuts. You have your Verizon data usage widget, which is very nice. My accounts, the guided tour, which is very cool. If you're new to Android or Motorola phones, I suggest you take the guided tour. My accounts helps you keep track of what's hooked into where. So you see I've got a Motocast ID. We'll show you that in a second. And Smart Actions. Let me go ahead and show you Smart Actions. This is very cool. So Motorola has this series of kind of helpful things to help you use your phone. It's almost like Tasker, right? If you've ever used Tasker, it's kind of a conditional sort of thing. So you can say, all right, if this happens, do this. Well, this is very much the same thing. So you'll set up rules and triggers. So this is the low battery saver. It says, all right, if the battery is less than 20% and the device is not charging, then set the brightness display to 25%, turn GPS off, and disable all background sync. Very kind of cool. So, and there are a whole bunch of sample ones in there. When you launch it for the first time, you'll see. You can set things by location, so your phone knows, hey, you're home. Let me turn the volume up all the way, because chances are you've taken your phone out of your pocket, and we don't want you to miss a phone call. Very, very cool things. I like that a lot. You can really play around with that. Down here at the bottom, you have your dock, and this is, in fact, customizable. And so if you want to change one of these three first things, phone, text, or camera, you can't change the app drawer icon, obviously. You just hold down on it, and then it gives you a list of apps to choose from. So I don't use normal text messaging, I use Google Voice. So I will change it to Google Voice, and we are all now happy. Very, very cool. Now where things get a little muddy is when you open up the app drawer, there is just a whole piss pot of applications loaded on here by default. I've put a couple on here that I normally use when I'm testing, like speed test, phone test, or things like that. But Verizon has loaded this up with just about everything you'll ever see on a Verizon or Motorola phone. Kindle, Blockbuster, device setup, what else? Facebook I put on there that wasn't on there by default. Neither was Google+, though it's only a matter of time before that happens, right? GoToMeeting from Citrix, very nice. Let's Golf 2, of course, Madden 12. Moto Active, you've seen that. That's a little wristband watch looking thing that you use when you're exercising, and it talks to the Moto Active servers and keeps track of all that. So very cool, but it's loaded on there by default, so if you don't use it, it's kind of in the way. Moto Print, that's cool. It's a wireless printing solution. NFL Mobile, Netflix is on there by default. There's a news RSS reader app. Slacker Radio, Quick Office, the Smart Actions we just showed you, Social Location. Is that what? Check-ins, ad channels, what? Yeah, okay. Anybody actually going to use that? What else? A Task Manager. Now, remember, this is a hybrid between Task Manager and easily lets you exit out of apps that aren't behaving. And it has an auto end list. Stay away from that. Do not touch that. That's the sort of bad Task Manager that we do not like. VCast tones, great. Verizon Video, great. Video Surf, great. Voice Command, fine. There's the Google Voice Search, VZ Navigator, fine. YouTube. Whole bunch of stuff on here by default. Dive into the settings. You'll see you don't have a whole lot of storage on this device. So you've got application storage. You've got about 2.5 gigs left right now. So call it between 2.5 and 3, I suppose, when you launch for the very first time. Another 8 gigabytes partitioned of internal storage, and then you've got a 16 gigabyte micro SD card, so you've got, 22 gigs of other stuff you can use. Now remember, when you plug this into a computer, you're actually going to see 2 drives show up, because you have the SD card as well as internal storage. Whoa, we do not want to format it right now, no! Media sync storage, so that's interesting, that stores on the 8 gigabytes. Something else I want to show you is how Motorola does music now, so this is actually really cool. When you first plug in, you're going to be asked to install something called Motocast and sign up for it. And all it really does, it's not unlike Google Music. So you'll set up watch folders, and then once it sees them, it will automatically sync music or pictures or whatever back to your phone. So I set it up to watch just a folder with 2 albums in it, and it took about 10 seconds and synced them over, and now you can play them in the music app. Very, very cool, nicely done. You know, if you're using another solution, fine, but if you're not, I highly suggest checking this out. It's really not bad at all. Something else I want to show you is the camera. So Motorola's actually got some decent camera application going on here. You have all your settings down here at the bottom, so you have the actual settings button. This is where you'll change between shooting an 8 megapixel or 6. By default, it's set up for 6 megapixels so that the pictures will take up your entire screen. Video resolution you can change from 1080p to 720 and on down. I would leave it at 720. That's fine for me, I think. We have my finger over the lens. We have effects, so you can do normal, black and white, negative, sepia, solarized, blah, blah, blah. Scenes, so these are cool. You can do auto, is probably what you want to leave it on most of the time. Portrait, landscape, macro. And then you also have, in addition to scenes, modes. So it'll do single shot, which is probably what you're going to do most of the time. Multi-shot, which will take a bunch at one time. Panorama, which I love, so you'll move the camera back and forth and it'll take a nice widescreen picture. And timer. Something that's missing is HDR. I know people love taking HDR apps. Not on here, you're gonna have to do one yourself. Exposure, so you can take it off auto and crank it way up if you want, but not a good idea. Then you have your flash settings. Switching over to video is just one tap away. Hi, how's it going? And so is switching from front to rear camera, like that. So that is the camera app. Very nicely done, like it a lot. Show you the web browser. Browsing on this thing is actually very, very fast. Like it a lot. Now, dual core processor helps. Gigabyte of RAM helps. But I have no complaints here whatsoever, because as we all know, Android Central isn't necessarily the fastest page around, but looks damn good on here. And you'll see the rotation very nice and smooth as well. So there you go, guys. Very quick look at the software on the Motorola Droid RAZR. See ya.